Welcome grade 8 students. This is me, once again, Teacher Christine, your science teacher for today. So before we proceed with our new lesson, let's have first a short review on what we have discussed last week. You were able to learn that the color of an opaque object is the color of the light it reflects, and the color of a transparent or translucent object is the color of the light it transmits. So if you're going to look in this picture, the apple appears red because it reflects red light. The leaves look black because they absorb red light. Look at the middle picture. The apple appears black because it absorbs green light. The leaves look green because they reflect green light. Look at the picture on the right. The apple appears black because it absorbs blue light. The leaves, on the other hand, look black because they absorb blue light. You were able to learn also that when the three primary colors, blue, red, and green of light are combined in equal amount, they produce white light. And lastly, you were able to learn that when the three primary colors of pigment, which is the blue, yellow, and red, are combined in equal amounts, they produce black light. So now we will proceed with the last lesson for this school year. Lesson 2 of Chapter 10, Reflection and Mirrors. At the end of the lesson, you are expected to learn the following objectives. First, identify the kinds of reflection. And lastly, describe the types of images produced by plane, concave, and convex mirrors. At the end of the lesson, you have to know and understand the meaning and the concepts of the following vocabulary words: ray, optical axis; regular reflection, focal point; image, real image; diffuse reflection and convex mirror; plane mirror; virtual image; and lastly, concave mirror. So before we proceed with our new lesson, I want you to prepare the following materials with you. First, you have your textbook. The next one, you have your pen. And lastly, your highlighter. So please open your textbook on page 336 and read my planet diary entitled Periscope. After reading the passage, you are expected to answer the question that follows. To start off with our lesson, we will start off with what are kinds of reflection. Why do you see a reflection of yourself in a mirror but not on a page of your textbook? To answer this question, you need to understand how a surface reflects light. To show how light reflects, you can represent light waves as straight lines called ray. So when we say ray, it is a straight line used to represent a light wave. You may also recall that light obeys the law of reflection. Going back in our discussion in this lesson, the law of reflection states that the angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. So that means if the angle of incidence forms 45 degrees, that means the angle of reflection should also form 45 degrees. The two ways in which a surface can reflect light are called regular reflection and diffuse reflection. So the first reflection that we are going to discuss is called regular reflection. When we say regular reflection, it occurs when parallel rays of light hit a smooth surface. All of the light rays reflect at the same angle because of the smooth surface. So you see a clear image. An image is a copy of the object formed by reflected or refracted rays of light. Shiny surfaces such as metal, glasses, and calm water produce regular reflection. So now we will proceed with the second type of reflection, which is called diffuse reflection. It occurs when parallel rays of light hit an uneven surface. Each light ray obeys the law of reflection but hits the surface at a different angle because the surface is uneven. Therefore, each ray reflects at a different angle. You either don't see an image or the image is not clear. Most objects reflect light diffusely. This is because most surfaces are not smooth. Even surfaces that appear to be smooth, such as a piece of paper, have a small bump that reflects light at different angles. So I want you to look at this picture. It's almost the same picture on page 337 of your textbook. So you have to label the kind of reflection that occurs on each surface. So you can see here an animal dipping itself in a water. So this one has a regular reflection because the surface of the water is smooth. And this part has a diffuse reflection because the surface of the animal is uneven. What types of images do mirrors produce? Have you ever looked at yourself in the curved mirrors of a funhouse? If so, you know that your image looks different than it does in a flat mirror. Your image may look tall and skinny at one point and short and wide at another point. To understand why your image changes, you need to learn about the types of mirrors. So the first type of mirror is called plane mirror. Did you look into a mirror this morning to brush your teeth? If you did, you probably use a plane mirror. A plane mirror is a flat sheet of glass that has a smooth, silver-colored coating on one side. Often, this coating is on the back of the glass to protect it from damage. When light strikes a mirror, the coating reflects the light. Because the coating is smooth, regular reflection occurs and a clear image forms. The image you see in plane mirror is a virtual image. When you say virtual image, it is an image that forms where light seems to come from. Virtual describes something that does not really exist. Your image appears to be behind the mirror, but you can't reach behind the mirror and touch it. A plane mirror produces a virtual image that is upright and the same size as the object. But the image is not quite the same as the object. The left and the right of the image are reversed. For example, when you look in a mirror, your right hand appears to be a left hand in the image. The second type of mirror is called concave mirrors. These are mirrors with a surface that curves inward like the inside of a bowl. These are some examples of a concave mirror. I want you to look at this figure. This figure shows how a concave mirror can reflect parallel rays of light so that they meet at a point. Notice that the rays of light shown are parallel to the optical axis. This is where the optical axis is. So when we say optical axis, it is an imaginary line that divides a mirror in half, much like the equator that divides the Earth into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. The point at which rays parallel to the optical axis reflects and meet is called the focal point. This is where you can find the focal point. The type of image that is formed by a concave mirror depends on the location of the object. So please take note that concave mirrors can produce both real or virtual images. And when we say real image, it forms when light rays actually meet. So to see the difference between a real image and a virtual image, I want you to look at this picture. If the object is farther away from the mirror than the focal point, the reflected rays form a real image. Unlike a virtual image, a real image can be projected on a surface such as a piece of paper. Real images are upside down. A real image may be smaller, larger, or the same size as the object. Now, I want you to look at this picture. In this picture, if an object is between the mirror and the focal point, the reflected rays form a virtual image. Virtual images formed by a concave mirror are always larger than the object. Concave mirrors produce the magnified images you see in the makeup mirror. The third type of mirror is called convex mirrors. These are mirrors with a surface that curves outward. Looking at this figure, it shows how convex mirrors reflect parallel rays of light. The reflected rays spread out but appear to come from a focal point behind the mirror. The focal point of convex mirror is the point from which the rays appear to come. Please take note that a convex mirror produces a virtual image that is always smaller than the object. Perhaps you have seen this warning on a car mirror that states, "Objects in mirror are closer than they appear." Convex mirrors are used in cars as passenger side mirrors. The advantage of a convex mirror is that it allows you to see a larger area than you can with a plain mirror. The disadvantage is that the image is reduced in size. As a result, the image appears to be farther away than it actually is. The driver must understand this and adjust for it. So to wrap up everything in this lesson, you were able to learn the two ways in which a surface can reflect light, and these are called regular reflection and diffuse reflection. So as you can see here in this picture, the reflection that occurs in the surface of the water is called regular reflection because it has a smooth surface. On the other hand, the reflection that occurs on the body of the animal is called diffuse reflection because it has an uneven surface. And lastly, you were able to learn the three common types of mirror, which are called the plane mirror, the concave mirror, and the convex mirror. Thank you so much for watching the video. So that's it for this school year. Enjoy your vacation.